Alrighty, so as we approach just 2 days away from Decision Day 2025 in the MLS regular season, I want to do a video looking at some of the interesting storyline heading into this year edition of Decision Day. Because anytime when we head to Decision Day and heading into the final match week of the MLS regular season, there's always some interesting storyline, and this year is no different. The biggest storyline I think you got to say in terms of Decision Day is going to be the Western Conference off race. So this is very similar to what we saw a couple of years ago, where there was a fight for two spot in terms of four teams to try to get into the playoffs, and this is the same thing. And I did say before that the Western Conference playoff race is going to go down the stretch, although there was a chance that that wasn't going to happen if RSL and Dallas would have took their business and get the win during the international break and able to capitalize the game in hand that they have. We would not be in this situation where there's four teams that is vying for two playing round. Every playoff spot would have been decided by now, but alas, both of those teams didn't get the win, and that's why we're in this situation where these four teams: RSL, FC Dallas, Colorado, and the San Jose Earthquakes, are all vying for those two spots. Now, I just want to also give you guys an update as I have the standings here of where exactly these four teams are in the standings. So currently, Dallas have 41 wins. They have a 10, 11, and 12 record. RSL currently in ninth place with 40 points with a 12, 4, and 17 record. Colorado currently in 10th place with also 40 points, but RSL does have the tiebreaker on wins. Colorado has an 11, 7, and 5 record. And the San Jose Earthquakes, a team that I've said before that they look like they're in terms of playoff contention, somehow still alive in 11th place with 38 points with a 10, 8, and 15 record. And what's even more crazy is that I look at the matchup in terms of all these teams playing against their opponent in Decision Day. I gotta say the San Jose Earthquakes probably might have the most favorable matchup because yes, they are playing against Austin at home, and Austin is a playoff team, but Austin pretty much have nothing to play for, and they're probably maybe going to rest their team, and especially the fact that the Quakes, of course, are playing at home, which is not always a guarantee because the Quakes this season hasn't really done so well at home. But compared to the other team like Dallas, who probably have the toughest matchup, to have to go to Vancouver playing against a team that still are trying to get the top spot in the Western Conference, and they're doing it without their leading goal scorer Peter Musa. And I haven't heard anything about Logan Farrington and whether or not if his red card is rescinded. That might be something I might talk about when I do the news of the week episode a little later today. But yeah, without those two key players, and you're playing against the best team in the West and trying to stay at the being the best team of the West in the end of the season, that is not a favorable task for Dallas. And then you look at Colorado; they of course have to play at home against LAFC. Now LAFC, just like Austin, they can't really get the top spot anymore. They don't technically have anything to play for. Maybe trying to keep that third spot, trying to stay off Minnesota in terms of getting that third spot. But with how hot LAFC has been, and I know they did lose their last game, but keep in mind that was game without Bawanga and Sung, and I have no doubt that Bawanga and Sung will play on Decision Day, and those two guys have just been wrecking big for the past month or two. Yeah, that's not going to be an easy task for the Rapids either, even when they're playing at home. And then you got RSL, who of course are going to be playing against a team that's outside the playoff. They're the only team out of those four teams that are playing against team that is outside the playoff picture, but they have to go on the road in that one when they play against St. Louis. And St. Louis has been kind of a spoiler lately. I mean, this is a team that's just like last season. There's kind of gone on a pretty good run to finish the season, trying to finish strong. So that's not a guarantee either. Even though I will say that RSL has definitely been much better this season on the road than they are playing at home. But yeah, very fascinating to see how it's going to be. I'm actually going to be going to one of those games that I mentioned between the Quakes and Austin, and I also have like two other screens on my phone that basically I'll keep an eye on the other matchup because yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how the other matchup is going to be. And like I said, I said before that the Quakes are probably done in terms of playoffs. I still firmly believe that that is the case. But I wouldn't be surprised if they do something that Atlanta did last season. Remember how Atlanta, a lot of people count them out in terms of making the playoffs, and it feels like it's an improbable pass where everything has to go right for them to make it. Guess what? Everything went right for them, and they sneak into the playoffs and only knocked out one of the best team in MLS history, if not the best team in MLS history in the regular season in Inter Miami in the first round. So crazy thing has happened in the the last game of the season. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see who, of course, will make it. Now, the other thing that is also interesting is that on the other side, we have four teams that is vying to stay out of the two playing round in the Eastern Conference, and those four teams are Nashville, Orlando, Chicago, and Columbus. Now, I didn't actually get the matchup for each of these teams, so let me just quickly look at that. So for Nashville, in terms of their decision day game, they are going to be playing against Inter Miami at home. So yeah, that's not an easy task whatsoever, even though Inter Miami doesn't have anything to do. For Orlando City, their decision day matchup is going to be on the road against Toronto. That shouldn't be an easy matchup either because Orlando has not been very good lately. For Chicago, who has been pretty good lately, they are going to be go on the road to play against New England, so definitely a winnable game. Consider Chicago is very good this season on the road, and then Columbus, they are going to be at home against the New York Red Bulls for the final day of the season. So yeah, all of these teams they're trying to stay out of the playing round, and it's good the fact that you want to stay out of the playing round because you know you don't have to worry about playing in that one game playing round where if you lose that game, your season is pretty much over. So yeah, we'll see who of course will do so and stay out of that, and we'll also find out who exactly is going to be the opponent that will be in the Eastern Conference play in round that wild card game in a couple of days. And then of course the battle of the top spot in the Western Conference between Vancouver and San Diego. So both of these teams are they're 3 points behind, but keep in mind if Vancouver do lose their game against Dallas and San Diego was able to win their game, I believe San Diego is going to be go on the road to play against the Portland Timbers, which again not an easy matchup, but San Diego is much better on the road this season than they are at home. And if they are able to get the win and Vancouver loses, San Diego and Vancouver would tie at 63 points, but San Diego does get the tiebreaker because of wins. So that should be very interesting to see who, of course, will get the top spot in the Western Conference. And it's important to get the top spot too, because if you get the top spot in the Western Conference, you're going to have home field advantage throughout the playoffs up until MLS Cup, unless of course they're facing against the Philadelphia Union, and I believe and then of course it depends also what happened with Cincinnati and Miami. If they also win their game, there could be a case that they only will get it up to MLS Cup. Most likely, MLS Cup this year is going to be hosted by an Eastern Conference team because the East definitely have just a little bit better team this season compared to the West. I say that, but it's not by much when it comes to when you look at the points total. So yeah, very interesting to see who of course will get that top spot in the Western Conference. I think it's more important for Vancouver to get it than San Diego. I mean, for San Diego, I don't know if necessary you want to get this top spot. As I mentioned, this team is much better this season on the road than they are at home. They have had their struggle this season at home. When you also look at the record, it's kind of hard to believe that is the case. Vancouver is much better this season at home than on the road. Well, to be fair, it's kind of almost the same similar in terms of their home and road record. But I think if you ask as any of both of these fan base who want to have home field advantage more, I gotta say it's gotta be the Vancouver Whitecaps because you do not want to go to BC Place to get a win. That is a tough place to get a win. That is much tougher to get a win than you would see with a team going to Snapdragon, because we have seen before where teams have been able to go to Snapdragon and able to get the resort. So yeah, I think Vancouver would definitely want this top spot and want home field advantage definitely more than what we see with San Diego. And then, of course, we also talk about at the bottom of the standings. So everybody, of course, focus in terms of the playoff race. Don't forget about the bottom of the part of the standings, where five teams are also looking to not do the dubious honor of winning the wooden spoon right now. So right now, the five teams that are trying to avoid that mark are DC, Atlanta, Montreal, LA Galaxy, and Sporting KC as well, which is quite crazy to say because Sporting KC was doing pretty well, but yeah, lately they have just completely fell apart again, and now potentially could actually finish dead last in the Western Conference, which would be unthinkable because the LA Galaxy was dead last for pretty much the entire season, and they looked like they were nailed to do so. But I mean, I guess if you're a Galaxy fans, at least you get to say, as bad as the season is, and how this is the worst defending champion of all time, there could still be a case where they might not even finish dead last in their own respective conference, and they'll definitely take that And then of course, home field advantage in terms of the Eastern Conference is still up for grabs. That final spot in the fourth position. I believe there's three teams that are trying to get that spot. So you got Nashville, NYCFC, and Charlotte are trying to vie for that fourth position, which is the last spot where you at least get home field advantage throughout the first round of the playoffs. It's kind of interesting for Nashville, the fact that they're trying to avoid to stay out of the two playing rounds as well, stay out of the wild card round, but they still have a chance in terms of getting home field advantage. That's how tight things are in the Eastern Conference. It's a little bit of a lot, Jim, where it's not really much separated between fourth all the way down to ninth place. I mean, when I look at the standings, fourth all the way down to ninth place is only separated by 5 points. And if we have an extra match week, man, that would have just created a lot of chaos in terms of the fact that you can theoretically be, if there is an extra match week, if if this was only match week number 33, or everybody play 32 games, there still be a chance where if you're the ninth place team, you can still get home field advantage, at least in the first round of the playoffs, despite sitting in that just above the red line right now. And then lastly, of course, the Golden Boot race is kind of still up for grabs. I mean, every single season we always see the Golden Boot race coming down the stretch. Although this season, I mean, Messi does have a little bit of a gap. He has 26 goals right now compared to Bawanga, who currently have 24 goals. Surridge have 23 goals. Surridge has led the pace for most of the year, but he's kind of lost that luster a little bit in the last couple of games, and Bawanga has just been an absolute terror so far. Same with Messi as well. Messi has always been on a tear. Whenever he's on the pitch, you expect him to at least score a goal or two every single game, and that might be the same thing for this final match week as well. So Messi might just run away with the Golden Boot race at the end. But then it's going to be interesting to see when we get to the MVP conversation as well, because again, if we get to the MVP conversation, there's still that conversation: is it going to be Messi, or is it going to be Anders Dreyer, or even Evander as well, which I think those are the three that I would say could be in the MVP race. And I know LAFC fans will say, well, what about Bawanga? Bawanga has the stats. I think when it comes to the impact of a player, those three players I think has a much better impact than what Bawanga is. Sure, Bawanga has had a huge impact for LAFC, but really I think the reason why Bawanga has had such a good number recently, and his number really boosted in the last couple of games, is because Song Heung-min has really taken the pressure off him, and he's no longer had to really press and be the man to do so. Now that he has somebody else that can take the pressure and also take the attention off of him, now you see the reward that Bawanga, of course, is getting rewarded. And it's also helped the fact that you have literally one of the best playmaker in the world that is helping you and setting up the play and put it right on the plate to finish. I mean, that also kind of helps as well in terms of boosting your goal scoring tally. So yeah, I do think that when it comes to the playoff race, it's gonna be between Messi, Dreyer, and Evander. I know some people we'll definitely say Messi will win it again because of the numbers. I mean, the numbers doesn't lie. As much as I really want to see maybe Dreyer wins it, Dreyer has kind of gone a little bit cold in the latter part of the stretch. Yes, he did score a goal or two against Houston, but he hasn't been as big of an impact as what we see with Messi. Just going with his GOAT mode, and I feel like we could see a situation where this could be the second year in a row where we see Messi win the MVP again. But we'll see how that's going to do once they do announce the award, and they're going to announce the award as the postseason comes. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you like, smash the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments below what do you think of the storyline. If there's any other interesting storyline you want me to mention in the decision day, let me know in the comments below as always. But until then, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.